Let's unpack some of those vocabulary words that you're mentioning, and you've done some of that, but what are some of those buzzwords that moms should refrain from using and maybe get rid of them out of their lexicon when it comes to dealing with your son?
Well, I mean, just as we would say, no father should use any kind of vocabulary that suggests that he hates his daughter, right? I mean, is there any vocabulary word that a dad may be using that would suggest that that daughter's going to hear that you really hate me? And if there's any message that he sends, that is that. So a mother just has to step back. Is there any vocabulary word that I'm using that would cause my son to think that I don't respect him, that I have contempt toward him, that I despise who he is, that I find him unacceptable as a human being, that he's less than he ought to be?
Yeah.
And those are the words that we need to refrain from. But I still give a lot of grace to a mother who blows it just as long as she comes back and said, look, I wasn't trying to dishonor your heart. You're creating the image of God, and I believe in you, son, and that's why I'm so upset. I sometimes don't think you believe in yourself as much as I believe in you. See, that's the way you rebound.
Countless moms will contact Focus on the Family here. I mean, we get this a lot. And they're saying basically, listen, my son needs to earn my respect.
Mm-hmm.
Describe that environment, and is what she's saying accurate, or is that something you give? You don't earn it. It's something that your son deserves from you, even if they're behaving inappropriately.
This is a cultural teaching that respect must be earned, respect must be deserved. And if they have not earned it, they don't deserve it, and I'm not going to give it. And I always say that's understandable. We all feel that. It would be better to say, we earn the respect in some ways on the behavior. If we're doing well, we're honored. We get honor for things that we do. So there's a performance component to it that all of us would agree with. However, let's just think for a moment. So now your son hasn't earned it, he doesn't deserve it. What's the logic of this? Where are you going to go with this? So now you're going to say he deserves your disrespect. He deserves your contempt. He deserves you to say he's despicable. He deserves that you say that he's inadequate. See, if you bring this to its logical conclusion, then what you're saying is I can show contempt toward him all day long because he doesn't deserve it. And I'm going to say that is one of the biggest mistakes we could ever make with any human being, because no human being responds to contempt. So what the mothers are basically saying is, I'm not feeling that respect toward him because of his misbehavior. That's correct. We're not asking you to feel respect. What we're asking you is respectfully confront that which he's done that's not respectable. Because if you show contempt toward his spirit, that's the same thing as a father showing harshness and anger toward his daughter because she's not performing at the level that he wants, but as a result of his harshness and anger, she starts, performing at the level that he wants. But you're going to lose her heart, and you'll lose your son's heart if you continue to show contempt. So we have to then talk about unconditional respect being equal to unconditional love. And what are we talking about? God calls the husband to love his wife unconditionally. That doesn't mean, honey, I know you're committing adultery with the neighbor, so just continue on because I'm going to show you that I'm unconditional in my love. We say that's stupid. Unconditional doesn't mean you give another person license to do what they want. Unconditional love means there's no situation, no circumstance, no condition that can get me to ever hate you. I love who you are. What you're doing is unacceptable, but there's nothing you will ever do to get me to hate you. Unconditional respect is an oxymoron. We all understand unconditional love, but it's a contradiction of terms when you say unconditional respect. But unconditional respect means you say to your husband, you say to any human being, this doesn't mean it's easy, it just means this is true. There's nothing you can do. There's no condition. There's no situation. There is no circumstance that can get me to show you contempt for who you are as a human being. Why? Because this is who I am as a person. This isn't about who you fail to be as a person. I'm going to be a loving soul whether you're lovable or not. I'm going to be a respectful human being as a mother. I'm going to be a woman of dignity who communicates respectfully even though what have done is not respectable.